Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Tuesday Talk Show with me, your host, Yvonne Gorman, and I run a printing company called Essential Print Services based on Pride Park in Derby. And this morning, I am absolutely delighted to have Derby's very own Batgirl. It's Sarah Perkins. How are you today, Sarah? Are you well?
Good morning. Yes, I'm well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Before we go back over to Sarah, I want to make sure everyone is aware that this show is live. It is streaming live on 3 channels. Those channels are the Derby Small Businesses Unite Facebook group, which has over 1,100 members. We're going live on the Tuesday Talk Show YouTube channel. So if you don't know about that, please go on there and subscribe and give us a cheeky like. That would be awesome. Send us a comment, and also going live on the Essential Print Services Facebook page. And wherever you're watching this, whether it's live or on replay, please do get in touch. Send us your comments, send us your questions. We'd love to hear from you. This is unedited, this is live, this is not a podcast. So we're going to go straight into it because these things absolutely fly by. So Sarah Perkins, how did you get to be Derby's very own Batgirl with best-selling artists and a backlog of work?
Well, there's a bit of a tale to it in that I used to be very arty as a child, and I went to art college and came to Derby to go to university to study fashion design. I was a fashion designer for 5 years for various retailers, and then I had a little bit of a brainwave and I became a police officer, so which is a little bit of a going off on a tangent, but I'm very much a people person, and I can talk to all walks of life and deal with conflicts and things like that, so I was very suited to both, really. And then what happened was I was a police officer for 21 years, but I've developed a back issue sort of halfway through my service, and I ended up being office based for quite some time, and my back never got better. In fact, it got worse, sitting there for hours on end. So I ended up having to have an operation. I was on medication and things, and I just thought, I can't carry on like this. I can't be sat for hours on end, and it was just aggravating my back. So I personally asked to be medical retired, which was a big step for me. And I left in 2017. And then I was encouraged by friends and family to pick up the paintbrush again, because I'd kind of left, I'd not had the time to dedicate much time to art with having a career and night shifts and 2 small children. And so I gave it a go, and I surprised my friend with a 50th birthday present of her dog out of the blue. Pops it onto Facebook, and my friend did as well. And people were saying, "My goodness, where have you been hiding this? What have you been wasting your time in the police for?" Well, it wasn't a waste of time. It was a chapter, and it gave me the abilities to run a business, really. Through being able to talk to people, confidence, organisational skills, that kind of thing. And so then people were saying, "Well, I'd commission you." And I thought, well, where am I going to do this? I can't do it from home with 2 small children. So I was looking for a space to create from, stumbled across Banks Mill Studios in Derby, got accepted, and I've been there since September 2018. And the rest is history.
Gosh. And how did I can just about see in the background there, Sarah, the cavalry.
Yes. So I'll spin my camera. So this is the cavalry painting here. Might be a bit of a reflection from the window. I may point out that I'm at home at the moment, working from home. So yeah, this is the household cavalry painting that I did, that was put onto 11,000 Christmas cards.
Wow.
For the Blues and Royals Association, which is the regiment within the cavalry, and they support veterans that have fallen on hard times. So what came about was that last year I produced another artwork, which was of a drum horse. I have a friend of a friend who actually rides one of the famous drum horses of the household cavalry, which is a big Shire horse. And I wanted to paint something adventurous and something big. So I did it on a 4 foot by 3 foot canvas. It was massive. And what happened was, James, who's riding the drum horse, told a captain in the household cavalry about my work. He saw it, and he was he basically commissioned me to do the painting. Historically, they always use photographs because they've got a massive archive of, you know, parades and Trooping of the Colour, etc. And so they gave me a selection to choose from that I got permission to use, because obviously it's copyright issues. And I chose the one I liked. And yeah, it went from there, really. I sold the original painting to a father of one of the troopers that's in this picture, which is great. So because I'm very much like, all my paintings are are like my babies, I suppose, really, and letting them go. And so it was great that it went to somebody, and then I donated a percentage of that sale to the charity as well. And I've also got prints of it, which are available on my website, that I donate 25% towards the charity as well, because they're like a limited edition fine art. So I sign them all and everything. They're all numbered, and then every one that I sell, you know, they get a little bit of extra money on top of what's been raised from the cards themselves, which sold out in early December. So
that's amazing. And you've been in the national media as well. I've seen it sort of, you know, Christmas time. Yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. The sort of the publicity you've got around that one painting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was great to. I think it was a great opportunity to broadcast that I'm a Derby artist, that I'm doing something that's, that, you know, flying the flag, really, for a regiment that's like worldly renowned, and it's, you know, it's based in London. And it was great because it was also a feel-good story. It was something that was positive, coming out of, you know, the climate that we've got at the moment. And I had the assistance of Holly from Honest Communications to help me.
Shout out to Holly.
Yeah,
Holly. Big up Holly.
Who I met through the Derby Hub network.
Big up Derby
Hub. So, you know, and it's kind of, and then also I've had another big up is I had some photographs done which went in the press by Simon Smith from Jack Photography. So it was, and that was all through connections from the Derby Hub. And basically, you know, it's great to link up with other businesses, even though, you know, sometimes people think artists are, you know, a little bit airy fairy and flighty and what have you. And then, but I am in business. Yeah. I'm a businesswoman, and so it was great to come along and meet with other businesses, and how it's led from there. So the PR and the photographs were in a national magazine, local newspapers. I went on Radio Derby as well, and then I went on East Midlands, BBC East Midlands Today in December as well. So, and then I went in the Horse and Hound magazine, which is, you know, prime place, just with a collection of other Christmas cards that were around at that time, because there's lots of different charity Christmas cards featuring horses, so it was great to be part of that as well. So
the famous Horse and Hound magazine. Amazing. So you mentioned there, you touched on, you are an artist but you are running a business. So
yes.
What is the hardest thing about owning your own company?
I think it's time for me, because I've got 2 small children, and I've certainly in the last year it's been even more so. So yeah, time is my issues, time and energy, and obviously I have to work. I'm fidgeting now because my back's giving me the jips. I have to work around my health issues, so it's kind of it's just pacing myself, and not overdoing it, but also, you know, keeping it a steady pace so that I can produce the work that I want to, because ultimately there's frustrations when I can't get on with stuff, and so yeah, it's about organisation and planning and scheduling. That's I think that's my challenge, really.
And how do you do that? How do you schedule and plan? What are your sort of techniques and tools?
In relation to painting, I've got my studio down in Derby usually. Unfortunately, I'm at home at the moment following Boris's instructions. Yeah, there are a few working out of the building, but they're mainly people who have got large equipment. So, you know, that's why whereas I have bought everything home to paint from home. So yeah, I tend to paint in sort of, you know, I can manage about 3-4 hour stints, and I do it in blocks during the day, and then I tend to do updating more, you know, social media, and do my accounts, and getting organized, and everything. Most of that's done in the evening, to be perfectly honest, when the children have gone to bed, and it's just managing my time, really.
So you're working around your family life,
Yes,
rather than where your energies would be at your best. So I think creatives are meant to be the most creative, sort of between 3 and 5, apparently. Would you resonate with that?
Yeah, I think I am definitely more of an afternoon person, and I tend to, and obviously I've got to fit in around the school hours as well. So I tend to be in the studio from around 10 o'clock till just before sort of I need to head off to go and get the kids from school, so maybe about 2:45. So and sometimes I have them in after school clubs so that I can carry on. The challenge is really, if I'm in the flow and I want to carry on, you know, sometimes I just have to plan it around it.
I totally understand what you mean. I've been a designer for over 20 years, and once I'm in that flow, that state of flow, you just want to go with it. And if something interrupts you, it's like, damn it, I just want to finish it. But yeah, it's one of those things. We are flying by with the time, as I thought we would do, Sarah. I knew we would do.
And I can talk for English. So I'm trying to keep my answers short and sweet.
We've got Derby's 2 best chatterboxes on to the Tuesday talk show this week, so anything can happen. Like I say, we are live, so please do send in your comments and questions to us. We'd love to hear from you. So Sarah, what is the best piece of advice someone has ever given to you, and how did it affect your life?
Gosh, now
big question.
That one's a difficult one, really. Now, what I would say has been absolutely great for me is that I've had a business mentor, but a creative business mentor since actually prior to starting the business. So when I started in September, I started seeing a lady called Philomena.
Pick up Philomena,
yeah. Phil from NBV, which is part of the Big House project, and she supported me from July of 2018 before I started, and I still see her throughout the pandemic. I've been doing Zoom calls with her, and yeah, I think, you know, I can't say there's one thing that she said to me really, other than, you know, she's very encouraging, very supportive, especially through the last few months, which have been really frustrating for me as an artist, to not be able to get on at the pace that I'm used to, and just I think I amaze her because I've come so far in such a short time. So she always reminds me of that, which is great. You know, you always have self doubt, and you think, oh, just, you know, I should be doing more, I should be doing this, and she's like, you know, give yourself some credit. You've come so far in such a short time, and also to get the publicity that I did at the end of last year. Yeah, I think there's not one thing that it's that support and
accumulation of support. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. What prompted you to shout about that particular painting? Was it someone, did Holly suggest it? Did you go to Holly and say, I want to, you know, bang the drum about this? Or what happened?
I think I saw
difficult, isn't it, to shout about yourself as a small business owner?
Yeah.
Those things where you think, I can do it for other people, but to do it for myself, it's like, oh, I feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, yes, it was pushing us. It was pushing me out of my comfort zone, but I kind of knew that it needed to be done, because partly, you know, there was 2 aspects to it really. Was that it was something positive and I wanted to broadcast it really, and also I was doing it with charity, so anything I could push was ultimately going to raise more funds for the charity.
For a win-win situation.
Yeah,
there,
and so, you know, I was saying about the prints earlier, it's not all about me making the sales, it's about also raising funds, and, you know, and also getting the art on people's walls. There's nothing more rewarding than that. And then I thought it was a good opportunity. You know, you've got to grab those opportunities when they come along.
Absolutely.
I've done other artworks that yes, that, you know, people love them, but this one was worth shouting about. And from there, I'm hoping that there'll be other projects in the pipeline. I'm in conversations with a couple of people at the moment to keep the momentum up, really, and then hopefully that'll give me an opportunity to broadcast again what's being achieved.
Sarah, we've got a couple of people on this show. Want to say a big hello? We've got Chloe Maudsley. Good morning, Chloe, from Derbyshire Institute of Sport. We have Matt Elliott, a future guest of the Tuesday Talk Show. So I'm excited to hear what Matt has to say in a few weeks' time. Right, we are again flying through time. I want to get cracking on with some more questions, if that's okay.
Okay.
So most people watching this, Sarah, have already got their own small business, and it might get through to people who are wanting to take that leap of faith and start out maybe a side hustle or something.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone? What advice would you give someone starting their own business? And how does someone know that they're ready?
Gosh, yeah, that's a question. I think I for me, it happened. I do feel that life's full of paths and chapters and fate and what have you. And obviously the ability was in me to paint, and I kind of scooted around it for years. And I think it's the timing, and I feel for me that it was the right time and the right chapter in life to go for it. And I think everything was pointing towards it, and it was just me taking that step. You know, seeing the signs that it's right, and that you're doing. I'm doing something that people want. That there is always a gap in the market for it. There's lots of us. There's lots of pet portrait artists and lots of artists, and it's just finding the right angle and the right niche to fit to the audience, really. So I try not to
those signs, and you know,
yes, I think
don't be too enclosed in what you're doing. Make sure you lift your head up every now and again and go, oh yeah, there's a signal there. I need to follow that up and see what that's all about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. And using the skills you've got, which are already in you, I think. You know, like I say, I've had my diverse background. So, you know, you've got the arty, creative side, but I've also got the organised, analytical side. So,
process side as well.
Everybody has a variety of abilities, and I think they need to give themselves a bit more credit for it sometimes.
Absolutely. Sarah, are you into your books? Do you love to learn? What sort of influence you?
I'm gonna hold my hands up and say that I don't read very often, because again, it's time and getting the peace and quiet. And I think by the end of the evening, I'm ready just to sit with a cup of tea and watch something on Netflix or something. But I do I've started to listen to podcasts while I'm painting. But they have to be quite slow and steady, you know, and I'm taking them in the background. I can't listen to lively music because I find it distracting. It's more sort of chilled out, plinky plonky type of music just in the background. I know there's artists that can, you know, they like it all lively. I don't. I need to concentrate. However, I have started to listen to podcasts. A couple that I have been listening to is Women Who Create, which is by Debbie Dudar from over in Nottingham, and she has.
Great. I love that. I love saying it as well, Debbie Dudar.
Debbie Dudar. I actually do. I do attend her networking group, which is the Blue Stockings over in Nottingham, which has been invaluable.
Nottingham? You're going over the border?
I have been going over the border. I live in Borrowash, so I'm kind of heading in that direction. But yes, but there's there's people from all over the East Midlands that go to, but now it's all online at the moment. So I've been, you know, they have guest speakers and things, and she's great. So yeah, I listen to her, and she has guests on. Another one that I love listening.
I'll put the links in the chats as well.
Yes, that one you can subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Blue Stockings as like a member, where you get to go, or you can dip in and out, a bit like the Derby Hub, where you can go when you can. So, and also, yes, the Women Who Creators has been going for quite a while, and she has different people on, and so it's quite, you know, it's quite enthusiastic and inspirational.
We've got
And
another hello this morning, Sarah, coming through for you. It's Fiona from the Pet Servant. Artwork in the background looks amazing. Do you work with Derbyshire Wildlife Trust?
No, I haven't worked with Derbyshire Wildlife Trust. I have worked for, and this is another one behind me. This is, it's very difficult to see, but this is a bat. I worked with the Derbyshire Bat Group last year, and they do lots of work with bat conservation. I produced an original artwork, and they auctioned it off, which raised £360 for the Bat Group for doing their work. And then I've produced some prints that are on my website, and I donate again 25% to that.
That's the reason why I call you Derby's very own Batgirl.
Batgirl, yes, and you know, it was a really unusual. It was an unusual subject. And I didn't realise how many bat lovers there are out there. It's got a bit of a divisive subject sometimes, bats, but they do a lot of. They are an important part of our ecosystem. So, and it's just, yeah, it was an unusual one to do, and I loved. Yeah, it was great to do something a bit creative.
Awesome, and thanks, Fiona, for sending that question in. So the past year has been, I'm not sure there's a word for it anymore. The surreal is one that springs to mind. But over the past year, Sarah, throughout lockdown, have there been any new behaviours or beliefs that has improved your life? Have you made any changes since the pandemic that made you sort of stop and think, or make changes to the business or the way that you work?
Yeah, I've noticed an increase of online activity on my website. So there's definitely been a slow, steady improvement. Certainly before October, like October, November time, it was great. You know, it was really busy because I do original artworks, but I also decided quite earlier on in my business that rather than stay with one artwork, I would create products from that artwork. So I'm going to just show a couple of things.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't too salesy. So this is my bumblebee painting, but I put them onto vegan suede cushions.
Nice.
And then I also sell like greetings cards and things, and mugs and coasters. So what happened is that due to the pandemic, people are trying to find things to buy online. Yeah. And I was doing a lot more posting out, and thankfully I've got a wonderful post op on my doorstep, and I could dispatch stuff to people and gifts and things. So even though sadly all art, you know, usually I would do around Christmas time, certainly Christmas markets, art markets, that was, you know, that all was gone. I had all great plans for 2020. I'd been accepted into Patching's Arts Festival, which is a big arts festival over in Nottinghamshire. I'd got plans to do things at Haddon Hall, so I'd been accepted into that, and I was pushing myself to bigger events, so which unfortunately are more costly, but then you get out to a broader audience.
Yeah.
So I'd got stock, you know, I'd had to order stock way in advance for these things. And then, you know, everything started to get cancelled. It's like, oh my goodness. So I definitely upped my social media, and definitely saw an increase in, as I say, online. So that's the main thing, is adapting to being a little bit more organised with the getting everything out to the post office and what have you. So which is great. And then people are seeing my website more. In general.
Fantastic. Sarah, what have you become better at saying no to?
Oh gosh.
Are you a people pleaser? Do you say I'll do that?
I would say so, but the issue I have, again, going back to time, and so time is, I've got to be very careful that I don't take on too much that is give too much away from an art point of view. So people will approach me to ask me to do things of art that, and yeah, I can't do things for free. very often, because ultimately I've still got a business to run, and a painting for me will take me, you know, a fairly average painting will take me a week to do, and so, you know, that's a chunk of time. So I'm very selective as to what I do. So yeah, I get, like the lady earlier, do you do stuff with the Derbyshire Wildlife Trust? Yes, I'd love to. And I've done a little bit for the Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust. I've done a little bit of artwork for them. There's lots of call outs for artwork for charities. I just got to be very selective as to what I do. Otherwise, I don't get my own work done, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I know exactly what you mean, because you know, we get asked to help out with so many charities each year, but it feels, I try not to say an outright no, we can't help you. I try and pass them on to someone maybe that's got better synergy, or a connection in that particular area. If a football club, a local football club gets in touch, well, I'm not really into my football, and if I'm going to give away things for free, it's got to be about my passion. And that way, I'm more passionate about it, and I will give more, and then the charity will get more too. And you know, I've supported Me and D charity for several years, and I just found that if you find your, you know, the right charity connection and you stick with it, everyone wins. Everyone gets so much more out of it because of that longevity in that relationship. So it is definitely, you've got to find that passion, haven't you, that connection, and then you can just get so much more out of it.
Obviously for me, wildlife, animals fits, and I think it's the right path for me to be going down. Last year was my full year of working, and 2019 was as well, but I was finding my feet in 2019, and then last year I made the decision to support two of the charities with my artworks, and then this year I plan to do something similar. As I say, it's all in the pipeline at the moment, and talks and things. So
I feel like it's as though with you just started out, then we went through the pandemic. I feel like you're having this huge runway up to something, you know, huge, just waiting for that bit to take off. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, I think certainly what I did at the end of last year, which I actually, you know, I started that I painted it in April, because it had to be ready for it to be printed, but I knew about it in the sort of January, and I had to, you know, it was all in the preparation. And that's the thing, if it's like a Christmas card, you're talking, they're planning way in advance, sometimes even a year. So yeah, there's talks at the moment, but they're for things way down the line, so it's building up. But I think I need, what I feel like is the right thing to do is, obviously I've built up that momentum, like you say, and it's still going with it, and finding the opportunity to broadcast it some more, hopefully.
Yay! We are flying through this talk. If you're watching on replay or live, please do drop us a line, drop us a comment, press the subscribe button, give us a cheeky like, show us some love. This next question, I always make sure we have time for this next one. Bit of a personal one, Sarah, but it's one I think that is important to talk about, because I don't know about you, but before the pandemic, I would go to my networking groups and you'd say, how are you? And my default answer was, yeah, I'm fine. Business is really, really good.
Yeah.
Even if I was feeling like crap or something hadn't gone right, the default was, yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, it's great. And I think hopefully the legacy of the pandemic is we are much more open and honest with people that we know and trust in our business community, in our business buddies. And I've spoke to hundreds of business people throughout the past year, and some of them have been absolutely on their knees, wanting to give up, wanting to quit. What's the point? You know, have there been times where you felt like quitting, and how did you get out of that mindset? How did you continue?
I've not felt like quitting yet, because I am doing what I love.
Bring on to that feeling, Sarah.
Yeah, you know, there's no point stopping now. You know, I've put my art out there. My art is, you know, the paintings that I create I surprise myself every time I produce one. It's like, wow, I've actually quickly just I've got this by the side. This is this is not a surprise, so I can show you, but this is a horsey that I'm just in the process of doing. That's difficult.
Wow.
So that's a Shire horse that is one of my commissions. So for me, no, I don't feel like quitting. I do feel at some point I would like to make more of a living out of my business than I am doing. But it has been a case of, certainly in 2019, was a lot of investing back into my business, and buying the stock and building my brand. So yeah, so what's happened since then obviously is that from a book's point of view, from my accounts, I've not had the support from the self-employment scheme or anything like that, because I'm so new into it, and as new in business, you're encouraged to reinvest and to put all your every expense that you've had to pay out through. So then there's no way of being a big profit to then to get those schemes. And then obviously we've got 2020's hit. Thankfully, I've had some grants from Derby City Council, because I've got fixed payments with my studio, insurances, all that kind of thing. And also the pandemic has totally impacted my sales. As I say, can't go out to anybody. I'm in various shops in Derbyshire. So I'm in Arklow in Derby, and then I'm in a shop in Ashbourne, Bakewell, Belper. So I like to be in the sort of rural towns. And again, 1 minute they're open, 1 minute they're shut, and it's frustrating, and I'm stocking it up, and then the next thing the doors are all shut. So I think it's just having patience to ride through this. But yes, it's, being honest, it's been a roller coaster for everybody, hasn't it? And to actually, who'd have predicted this time last year we'd have still been in this situation, and you're kind of just holding out hope. And I think it's just kind of trying to keep your morale going, that hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And I think it's important that people know that they aren't alone. And Facebook groups like Derby Small Businesses Unite, where you can post your comments, any issues, any queries. If you're looking for grant help, you can post it on there, and people will get back to you. There's business leaders, members of that group that can get you answers very quickly. And having things like that, just worth its weight in gold. Places like your networking group in Nottingham, Derby Hub, places like that are just absolutely priceless. Like right now, to have that peer and support network. We were 33 minutes already, and it's absolutely flown by. Before you go, what is on your bucket list, Sarah? What have you got left to do?
Oh gosh, I think for me is to do more broader wildlife. So it'd be wonderful to go and see more wildlife abroad in their own habitat and things like that. Would be wonderful. Let's hope the restrictions at some point will lift, and I can.
My ambition for you is to get you on Countryfile.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
That would be, I can just see it. I'm like, come on, I've got to get on Countryfile. How are we going to do this?
Well, when I had the bat one that was last year, I kept tagging Chris Packham in my tweets, because he's well into bats and things, and never got anywhere. But I'm I keep at it. I
want to see you on Adam's farm on Countryfile. That'll be just he's made it.
But I am aiming high with hopefully some projects that are coming up. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Absolutely.
And there are a massive diversity of animal artists and portrait artists within the country, and if you do, it's worth approaching people and saying, can I be a part of this? Can I help?
Absolutely.
And so hopefully, there'll be more to tell.
A good point there. I mean, tomorrow, every month I host a networking group which is completely free, as part of the FSB, Federation of Small Businesses. So it's online at the minute, but we'd usually meet at the Enterprise Centre just up the road from Banks's Mill. And tomorrow's theme is client bingo. So I want people, we've got over 40 attendees. I want people to tell the attendees who they want to speak to. Give me names, be specific, and aim high, because you just don't know who knows who.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating where the next inquiry would come from. And maybe you don't know that actual person, but you know someone similar that fits that demographic. So have a list of people that you want to speak to, because I believe in law of attraction. If you write it down, you visualize it, something will come to you from that thing. So yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. So we need to wrap up there. Gosh. It's been absolutely amazing speaking to you, Sarah. Absolutely delightful. Where can people find you? Where can we see your amazing artwork?
Right, well, I've got Sarah, full name Sarah Perkins, but it's Sarah Perkins Art. I've got my own website, .co.uk. I'm on Instagram as Sarah Perkins Art, Facebook the same, Twitter. I'm not full on Twitter, but I'm trying to up it a little bit. Yeah, it's time again. But yes, that's where you can find me. On my website, it's got all my products. I've got a full e-commerce website, artworks and all my bits and bobs and gift ideas. And then also there's a page on how to commission me and the process and what photographs I would need. And I'm also very transparent about my pricing. So, you know, I won't be for everybody. You know, there's varying prices out there for portrait artists, but I feel that it's, you know, it's appropriate for what I do. So yeah, that is all the guides on there of how to go about it.
Awesome. So I'm going to wrap up, then come to you, Sarah, for your final thought to leave us today. So thanks everyone for watching this, whether you're on live or catch up or hashtag replay. Please do send in your comments and questions. We'd love to hear from you. If you need help and advice with your business, please do get in touch. If I couldn't help you personally, I will know someone who can. I'd love to signpost you to the right places. If you're watching this on YouTube, on the Essential Print Services Facebook page, and you want to be part of the Facebook group, please do search for Derby Small Businesses Unite and send in a request. And I am the admin. I have the power to accept you. Ha ha. So yes, please do send in a request. I'd love to see you in there and taking part in that amazing community. So over to Sarah Perkins for your final thought, please, for this week's Tuesday Talk Show.
Well, my message, and this is on every time I'm interviewed, every time I'm in newspapers and magazines, is that it's never too late to follow your dream. It's never too late to do something that is in you that you should have done, but you couldn't. And now, you know, the time, when the time is right, follow your dream.
I've got goosebumps. I love it. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks so much for your time. I know you're a really busy lady. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure. And we'll see everyone here next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Bye.